Okay, well, another Saturday here in America.
Mm-hmm. And another Sunday here.
Oh, I hope it's going better there than it is here.
Well, yeah, the weather can't make its mind up, so there's that.
Yeah. Oh, the weather made its mind up here. It made its mind up to be freaking cold. Really, really cold. So, yeah. So far, the storm hasn't hit here, which is why everything seems to be okay. Thankfully, we can still do our stream. Put another one into the series. Well, we're anticipated a lot of snow and really bad weather starting later tonight. Mostly concerned about the ice buildup that can be pretty damaging. So we shall see. We shall see. Again, I moved Mayhem to again another Monday. We'll see if there's even internet. There should be. It's supposed to be the end
Fingers
of the storm, and the cleanup phase should be by Monday. But already it's wreaked havoc on my court schedule and things like that.
Oh, I can imagine.
This has been the only steady series. Like, nothing seems to interfere with us unless it's uni or a sore throat. So, well, yeah. Put on date. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Today we have chapter 23, moving right along.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let me bring that up. You want to get started? Or, I mean,
yes.
I always worry about those streams that start with talking about the weather. We're so cliche all of a sudden, you know.
Well, you guys are going to get hit with a massive storm, so it's a little bit apt.
Yeah, true. Yeah, at least it was, current information. It wasn't, yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, Law 23 is concentrate your forces.
Let's pull that up. I'm one behind. There we go. Yeah, concentrate your forces. Like, That could be a good thing.
It
You
can
know?
be a very good thing.
It
So,
can be. Yeah.
the judgment is conserve your forces and energies by keeping them concentrated at their strongest point. You gain more by finding a rich mine and mining it deeper than by flitting from one shallow mine to another. Intensity defeats extensity every time. When looking for sources of power to elevate you, find the one key patron, the fat cow who will give you milk for a long time to come.
There's
Sometimes
some
a
like,
person really is a fat cow, but you know.
yeah, sometimes. But his wording is pretty weird. Like, but still,
Mm
there is a lot of good in this. Like, it does follow a very simple present uh, premise, so to speak. We all know that where your focus is, so your goal will appear, right? Where you put your efforts, you get the best outcomes. This is true, right? This is
hmm.
simple,
Yes.
right? If
Mm
you
hmm.
pay attention to something, it will like you water the flowers you want, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Nothing can do its best if you don't actually cultivate it, spend time on it, focus on it and do the best. That goes for our goals and endeavors too, whatever they may
Exactly.
be, business wise, personal wise, everyday life, right?
Mm hmm.
So on the surface, this makes complete sense, right?
Absolutely.
But when you scratch deeper into what Green is saying, he almost gives you the impression that he's saying that if you put your focus anywhere else except your main goal, that it's not optimal. In I don't know if I'm down with that.
No, yeah. You have a point there.
Because in business, putting all your eggs in one basket, well, that's not always a good thing. Having too many eggs is a bad thing.
Mm
Putting them
hmm.
all in one basket is a bad thing. Because the goal should be, yes, whatever your main goal is, your primary focus should be there. Everything should be working towards it. Most of your resources should go to it. But should it be everything? Well, I think not. I think not, because you have a great risk there. And especially in 2026, like now, in the now that we focus on, this generation, this mindset, this climate of business, this global influence that we are all dealing with, you run the
Sorry,
risk
just turning this off. Fucking thing.
you run the risk of, should it fail, and there is, like, we all know that not everything is successful, right? in
Mm hmm.
it's more and more difficult to find success in today's climate. So if you're not successful and you fail, if all your eggs are in one basket, you can't even rebuild from a strong point. You can't even rebuild. You can't even, pick yourself up off the ground and start over again. The goal
No.
should be a balance of, yes, focus on what you need and going there, but also make sure that there's a little bit of a backup plan that you can at least rebuild afterwards, that you're not left so far behind the eight ball that you can't recover.
Exactly.
You need some resources left there. And also, in your personal life, it comes to a balance. You it's like, you know it's like when I started dating. Okay. Okay, so whenever we talk about personal life, it always comes to like dating and marriage and
Mm
personal
hmm.
relationships. Well, that's basically personal life, right? Like, for most of us, it could be, and it
Absolutely.
could not, when it comes to family and situations like that, friendships and stuff. Well, when I started dating, I got advice from my nan, my mom, and my brothers, and they
Mm hmm.
all basically said the same thing. No matter how much you care about this new thing, this new person in your life, this goal of wanting to be with them and build a life and go forward, do not exclude the rest of your world. It always leads to disaster. Like, do not become an island with this person. Do not, like, cut everybody else off, like, just to be with that person. Because what you do is, like, relationships fail. And where will you be at? Where will the people that need to support you? Where are the people that are going to make you feel better, like that you can talk to commiserate, start over, get you a second date with somebody else, help you move on. Where are they going to be if you cut them all off? You know, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean about balance. Like, yeah, sure, you want to focus on that nice new relationship you've got going, and this person means the world to you. But you've got to be careful not to cut off the other things in your life that are going on at the same time. Because life is constantly moving, things are constantly changing. And, that life that you cut off, is going to keep moving forward all around you and leave you behind.
Man, you got great advice.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
I think it was great advice. They were looking out for me. Come on. Why? Did you not get good advice? Yeah.
You don't want to know the kind of advice that I got.
Welcome, Christine. New to the channel. Yeah. It was good advice, I think, because what they were trying to tell me is don't be so single-minded that I'm blinded by everything else in my world going on. You know what I mean? Like, it was, yeah. It was like, yeah, it's great to date and to move forward and, want to start your life, as a grown-up with a partner. But you can't cut everything else out. You still have to pay attention to your job, your school, your friends, your family, things, they were advocating for balance from day one. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's so like, it's the same thing, like say, like with you, I think you could speak on this in regards to what your true passion is.
Yeah, music.
Right. So does that mean you stop, that you cut everything else out in your life?
Absolutely not.
Right. You still have coffee?
Unless
dates?
I'm focusing on something, but if I'm working on a song, then no, I'm sorry, but no one's getting through to me.
No, I understand that in the moment, but are you attending uni?
I am.
Are you taking care of yourself? Do you still have friends and people you talk to regularly and things that you do?
Yes,
And
for the most part.
Don't they actually enhance your ability to do your music?
Sometimes.
Whether by giving you a break from the situation, giving you a fresh look, giving you an idea, just even encouraging you. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, there's the YouTube shorts, right? Like, which I can attest to.
YouTube. Any shorts are the devil's. I'm not a religious person, but if there was ever a devil in this world, any short form content is the devil's work.
Well,
I would pull the Bible out and be like, I rebuke you. I rebuke you.
Okay. Perhaps we should explain.
Down, devil.
Perhaps we should explain what we mean by that, because I think people are going, what the heck are those two talking about with the YouTube shorts? It is a way that we have both found ourselves, and we have talked about these behind the scenes and to each other often, that when we're trying to get something done, right, and we make the mistake of like tuning into YouTube or something and then get stuck watching irrelevant, useless, mindless gobbledygook for and I'm talking an hour. You could lose a whole hour. It feels like a minute or two, and I'm not admitting to more than an hour. You do what you can.
Everyone, the bear is a liar. The bear is a filthy liar.
True, it has been more than an hour.
I don't know anyone who has even just glanced at the shorts and has not lost at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
If you spent any small amount of time on YouTube, even just the worst thing about it is that you're even just it happens even when you're just searching stuff up. Like you might, for instance, you might be looking up, for me, I know one time I was searching for a formula and what happened and how to understand a formula. And it just so happened that a short happened to find out a formula, happened to explain a formula really well. And reflexively, I scrolled. And then I scrolled again, and I scrolled again, and I scrolled again, and again,
and again. And
and
we've talked about this, and that's what we're talking about, like the losing of focus, like in, like that's a bad thing. Like that kind of diversification from your goal is detrimental, absolutely detrimental. I mean, I'm not against like watching things mindlessly at the end of the day to try to chill. We watch
yeah, at the
anime,
end
we
of the
listen to
day,
music,
yeah,
some people read, they watch, well, my friend Juju, remember, she used to say she watched Hallmark movies because you didn't have to really engage in anything, they just felt good, and that's what she wanted. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, and I'm not saying don't do that, I'm just saying doing it excessively right now in the environment that we all live in, all of us here with the internet and with everything. It's very rare that you don't succumb to the mindless consumption of something that will take you off track, just completely throw you off track from your goals and all. So in a way, this law, and I have it labeled wrong. I have it labeled as law 22, but it's law 23. I don't know how both of us missed that again. Like we really need a third person to proofread our stuff.
that we do.
That we do. Does anyone want to volunteer? We're looking for a volunteer, for proofreading anyway, because we both looked at these twice. Come on, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna have to move to the next slide. I can't even stand looking at it. Okay, Indian. While we're talking, I'll just bring the slide down until we're on that part again, because that's how anal I am about my goals and what I'm putting my time into. But when I'm concentrating on something, I really want to concentrate on just that. I find I get the best outcome if I'm putting all my energy into it. In direction. And people will say, well, that seems really ridiculous coming from you, Claire, because you have your fingers in so many different things on YouTube. Well, they all do have a common thread. They do. And they're all about being heard and having a conversation. And, I have different interests. Yes, it's true. But the whole focus of the channel is one thing, and it does have some common things, trying to do the best that I can, trying not to put out misinformation, trying to, keep things balanced and neutral so that other people's voices can be heard. I do have opinions, but I also want to leave a lot of room for other people to have those opinions, whether they're with me or on the opposite of anything. It's not always easy. And I have to put this comment up because I want to know more. And I'm not like, I really genuinely want to know how it relates here, Couch, because I'm trying to find the thing. Is it because of the person who the trial is about, their focus on just, money or what? Or is it just my focus of that's the only content that's going out every day because the trial is so long? I'm trying to find the correlation here. I want to be clear about what you're pointing to, because I think it's valid. It could be either one of those things, totally. Thank you for everybody who's coming in and joining us. Yes. Oh, that's it. Their IT company lost their biggest client and then they floundered. Exactly. 90. That's it. Oh, for those of you that don't know, I'm covering New Jersey versus Paul Canero. In that trial, his brother Keith Canero was running a tech company called Square One, and they had one client, the Duke Foundation, which was 90% of their income. 90%. And when that big foundation said, we need more coverage in multiple areas, like they had an office in Hawaii, we needed more on-site coverage, and We want more service and we have to cut expenses. We need it cheaper. And they were unable to do it. And they lost that contract, which means that business was going to fail because they put all their eggs in one basket. Good. You know what? Thank you, Couch. That's perfect. That's a perfect modern day example of why total concentration. Now, on the good side of this, the tech company was successful because they concentrated only on tech's on-site service, and they were really, really good at it. But the other side of the law is if you only have one client, one big fat cow, so to speak. Do you see how the law can work both ways? The focus on doing one thing better than anybody else is always an excellent thing. Always. Put your energy into that. But counting on one big fat cow in today's market, well, I just think that this is one of those laws in the book that didn't age as well as it could have. You know what I mean? Like, it's not aging well. It doesn't.
No, it's not, because, like, especially nowadays, we have to be so multifaceted. Like, you used to be able to like focus quite easily on one particular thing, and everything else sort of would come along with it. But now, like, YouTube is actually an excellent example of where you can't just focus on, where you basically can't just focus on one thing, because it's gone from, like, even with YouTube, you used to just be able to focus on, you used to be able to do one particular thing on your channel. You used to be able to just create content. It would go out, people would see it, and people would engage and stuff like that. But now you have to be the content creator, you have to be the marketer, you have to be the manager, you have to be the shorts creator, the editor, you have to be everything.
But in the end, you're still focusing everything on your success of your channel or your platform, right?
Absolutely.
So in a way, the law applies, and then it's just how you apply it, right? That's the one thing about this law. It's good and it's bad. It's good to put your focus on what you want to achieve. Absolutely. Focus on that one thing you do better than everybody else and make that the main part of your goal instead of all the other little things. But you can't eliminate the little things. Not in today's environment. You absolutely just can. Now, would it have been better? And we'll use the example that Rocket Couch brought up, like with the IT business. Would it have been better that they did put their best guys on the what they call the main patron or the biggest account, or in terms that Robert Greene uses, the fat cow, which was the Duke Foundation. If they put their best guys on it, and they always had a 24/7 line for them, but they still went out and got other business for other companies and still grew and added other clients as they went, would they not, when they actually pulled their contract, at least be at a point that they could build up and survive?
Yeah.
But at 90%,
and 90, yeah,
no, right? Like,
no.
So, like, they backed themselves into a corner. So it's an unsuccess. It's
an unsuccessful bid, because like as Couch said, like, you leave yourself with a single point of failure,
and a very limited ability to recover.
Yes, and it's not so much that they left themselves with a single point of failure. In some respects, having a single point of failure, especially, for instance, in engineering, having a single point of failure is actually a good thing, because if you have a single point of failure, you know exactly where that point of failure is, so you can reinforce it to have redundancies. The problem lies not within the single point of failure. The problem lies within the redundancies, that there was no preventative measures taken
No backup
to
plan, no cushion.
to reinforce the point of failure,
Yes.
to make sure that if it does fail, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, if that single point of failure does collapse, there wasn't anything to restrain it from just absolute destruction. There was no safety net. There was no protection against unforeseen circumstances. And these are things that you have to think about when you're designing a machine, or when you're designing anything for that matter. Is one of the most important things when you're designing something, or when you're even planning something, is knowing where the points of failure are, and knowing what needs to be done to mitigate the fallout if it does fail, or in many cases, not treating it as if it is a potential failure point. Treat it as like a point to know. But like that also is a what was I going to say? I
I'm
lost
sorry.
track. Oh well.
No, I get what you're saying though, because it's kind of like we were talking before. Because everybody knows we do stream prep and we talk about all of this before we come out here, as we should, because otherwise it wouldn't be very informative. Well, what like Couch says, applying the redundancy is stimulating a single point of failure, but it's also preparing you for it and letting you actually make other plans like around it, and backups, and that's what you actually should. Like, there's no problem in that tech company having one big fat cow, but they actually needed more other things to cushion in case that fat cow walked or dried up, or turned into a sheep, whatever. And that's the only problem that I have with this chapter. It's not that the law isn't valid, it really is. You should focus on what you want to achieve. Absolutely. If you don't, how are you going to get there? But and depending on what you're willing to sacrifice, and that's the key, right? What are you willing to
Yes.
sacrifice in your life to accomplish your goals? And that's everything in this book. That was everything in 50 Cent's book, right? The 50th law, right?
Yep.
And everybody would say, well, look at 50 Cent. Look at where he came from and what he is now. And isn't that a marvelous story? Yes, it is. It's a rare story. He's a unique individual.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
look at everything he sacrificed, though, to give it. And are you willing to do it? Where is he now? He admits to not having a very good home life and not having people around him he can trust, being known to be a backstabber and somebody that'll do whatever he needs to do to get where he got to get. He didn't make any friends. He made a lot of enemies. He's not
Yes.
trusted individual. The one thing everybody says about 50, besides that he's really talented, he's really entertaining, and I can appreciate his story. I really can. But is he a
Yes.
man you would trust in a deal? Be honest, Rekkr. You're making a deal
Old
with 50
50?
Cent.
No.
No, even
Not
new 50.
necessarily.
How do you think 50 got where he is? Like, just because he's giving you a softer view. Do you
I can tell
really
you
trust
exactly
him?
how he got where he was. It was
Right.
trolling.
Okay, do you yes, he's an excellent troll. Like, if he's on my troll team, I'm all with it. But do I trust him? He could be trolling me next. Hell no. I ain't giving him any information. I ain't trusting him 100% in the deal. And I'm definitely looking at everything with, like, not only my eyes, but everybody else's eyes and a whole bunch of lawyers and everything else. Because I know 50's only out for 50. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a cost to doing it that way. Would you agree?
There
Okay.
absolutely is a cost. And Rocket Couch just said applying redundancy is eliminating a single point of failure. It isn't. It is and it isn't. In practice, yes, it is. Sorry. In theory, yes, it is eliminating a point of failure, but in practice, it's
Mhm.
mitigating the fallout of the failure point,
Which is what we should do. Like,
which
so,
is
yeah,
what we should do, which
right.
is what's the most important thing to do.
Right. So even in business, would you say it's kind of a wise thing to have a backup plan? Even though this is what
Absolutely.
you want, and this is you're putting all your energy and most of your money and everything behind one specific deal.
Yes.
But isn't it wise that if that deal fails, have a backup plan? Even if the backup
Yes.
plan is to reorganize and reapproach and try to redo the deal,
Hmm.
at least to leave yourself with the resources and the capability and a plan to do that would not be the smartest thing to do.
Yes.
Right.
Now
So,
there are cases where, like, for instance, when you're in positions where you've only got essentially one shot at something, a
mm-hmm,
backup plan might not even be feasible, or might not even be an option in any way, shape, or form, other than to completely abandon whatever your plan was and go in a completely different direction.
mm-hmm,
And in those cases, you sort of have to commit to it 100%, and
right.
one of the positions where you would have to be ready to actually put the law into full effect, into absolute focus, because
Mm-hmm,
if you're in a position, say, because there's countless stories of people who have literally come from nothing or have been reduced to absolutely nothing, and then there's this massive comeback story that they have,
mm-hmm,
and and they always boil it down to the fact that they had nothing to lose.
right.
and and in those situations, yeah, you applying this law would probably be your best option. However, even in those cases, you should always be trying to find some way of having some kind of safety net, or some,
Mm-hmm,
even just like a small backup plan. Like, say
right.
for instance, you're aiming for this, you've got nothing to lose, you're aiming for this big business big business move. Even accepting the fact that if it fails, you start working at a Walmart.
Mm-hmm,
It's it 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 holding the mentality of, I think, in a way, holding the mentality that there is no backup plan is an okay thing to do, but trying to always ensure some kind of backup plan is available.
yeah, I think. Mm,
The mentality is fine.
the practice is the
The
problem.
practice is where it gets very dicey.
I think I understand where you're going with that. Can I remold that a little bit? Like,
Yeah, you probably put it better than I did.
and I don't want to put it better than you do. I think what you
No,
said is
no, please,
absolutely
please do it better than I did.
valid. No, what it is absolutely you will not accomplish your goals if you're not 100% invested. Everything you eat, breathe, and sleep should be about what you want to accomplish. I agree with that. But making a backup plan is how you secure that. Making a
Mm,
backup plan is actually contributing to that goal. Not cutting off your partnerships, your relationships, your outside life is contributing to that goal because it keeps you as healthy and balanced as you can. So you have everything to fight for what you want. You see, that's where I'm at with this. I 100% believe if you're not invested in you, in what you want to accomplish, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. taking the easy road, taking the proven path road, taking the one that everybody takes, very rarely gets you there to where you want to really be. Those are crowded roads with many, many options. Your goal in life is to make yourself the best option. Yes, always. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. And not only an option, but the choice. Now, people have heard me say this before. I actually have it a tag on my Discord, and I say it often. I am not an option. I approach life as I'm the choice. There's like everything I apply myself to, I do 100%. I am not satisfied if I'm not giving my best. That's me. That's what I want to do. And most people do approach things the same way. Okay, you cannot mamby-pamby your way into a goal.
No. Well,
You can't, like, let's make
you're
it
very
simple.
lucky if you do.
Okay.
Let's be fair.
Right.
Some people do fail their way up.
Yes, they do.
It's
and
frightening.
those rags to riches stories that we all hear about, we hear about them all the time, but they are rare.
Mm-hmm.
Rare. We hear about them because they're so wonderful and because they're so rare. Okay, this is often the case in many things. We'll hear about it over and over and over and over again, but it's actually rare. And yet hearing about it all the time makes it seem like it's that often, that it always happens that way. And it's not so. It's very rare, these rags to riches stories. These starting from the bottom and getting to the top are very, very rare, which is why I say you got to constantly have the habit of keeping an eye on your focus on what you want to actually accomplish and making sure that everything around you and everything you're doing in some way is leading to that goal and is not hindering that goal. Okay, maybe it's not contributing, but it should at least not be hindering. YouTube shorts hinder
The devil's work. I'm not calling it anything other than the devil's work. It is the
So does that fall under
shorts are the
hindrance
devil's work.
and not support? Like, is it a hindrance?
They're nothing but they're the devil's. If you wanna play with the devil, go ahead, play with the devil. But
could somebody help me translate that out there? He means hinder, right? Like that's what he's saying.
It's the devil. No, it's the devil. It's the devil. I rebuke it.
Okay, let me try another thing. Eating well and getting good sleep. Hindrance or support?
Eating in general is a hindrance, and sleeping is a hindrance.
Justin, you're not
Okay, let's be honest here. If we could cut out eating, and if we could cut out sleeping, we get so much more done. Who's with me? Am I wrong?
My stream is getting hijacked by the ridiculous. If you like, we could let's end this stream and we could start another. Okay, if we want to talk like that, like because this is not okay. I'm going to ask you again, okay, Rekkr, and don't make me call you by your legal name again in frustration out here on YouTube. I had my mom voice on, like. Jesus effing Christ, you made me talk in my mom voice. Like, that should be a clue to knock it the heck off, okay? If I have to use my mom voice, you need to settle down, okay? I mean, seriously. Okay, taking care of yourself. Eating and sleeping right. Maybe not eating, avoiding eating if that's what you like to do, but feeding your body, feeding your brain, making sure you're in a good mental space, and getting good sleep, taking care of yourself in general, hindrance or support of your main goal?
In reality, yes, it does support it. I will concede that.
Damn.
But even Rocket Couch agrees with me. Having a sleep schedule holds you back. Push through with coffee and cocaine.
All right, listen, gentlemen. Do not make me outlaw testosterone from the conversation. Okay, let's just stop right there. If you're not gonna be reasonable, seriously. Yes, you will. But those are short-term goals. Are we not talking about a long-term goal here?
Yeah.
I will concede, since testosterone has invaded the conversation, that yes, you can push through with coffee and stimulants for a very short period of time. But if that's your long-term plan, I know where you're going to end up. Do you? That frazzled person who can't think straight, who's now addicted to the stimulants and even forgot what the hell his goal is. Yeah,
right where
that
that bear
person.
is.
Yeah, that person. Okay, this is why
Right.
testosterone
Right where
is
that
not
bear
allowed
is.
in the conversation. just stop. Okay, for short term, you're right. That's going to get you through a hurdle. For a study break, the people that take things and stay up all night to study before a big test. I get that. That's when taking care of yourself might be viewed as a hindrance, okay, because you're going to go over the top. But that's a short-term goal. That's a blip. We're not talking about blips. Can I be clear? We're not talking about the blips. We're talking about the long-term goal, which is to either graduate or to start a business on your own, or to become, get your music out there, or for me to have a great conversation,
Yes.
Okay.
I just thought of a good way to sort of measure what things, how to know whether you've got your focuses on the right things. I reckon, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I reckon if you are focusing on, if most of your time is put towards focusing on your goal, then that is a net positive. If you find that more time, that if you added the time up that you've spent during that day, and the larger percentage is not in and around doing or focusing on your main goal, then you might be in a net negative situation.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you only I'll be sensible here. It doesn't mean that you only focus on that, because you still need to put a little bit of time aside for eating and drinking water.
Gosh, you say it like it's a dirty word. Eating, sleeping, mental health. Yet, I'm sorry. Is this okay? I'm gonna throw you under the bus with this attitude here. Is this not coming from the man that regularly we have sessions of chill out after like doing these streams? What will we be doing 6 hours from now after this stream? We will be eating either chips, popcorn, confit, or something delicious while watching anime and talking smack about all kinds of shit. Yes?
Probably.
Does that not like get you ready for the next day?
Sometimes, yeah.
Support the hindrance of your main goal. Because after we have that little session, what do we normally do, Nate? We play music.
We get back onto work.
We get back onto music, right? We get right back into what we were doing. So it's not a hindrance, is it? It's actually support of your main goal, because it helps put you in the mindset. If you don't feed your brain dies. I don't know. I know you got this aversion to food that you want to put out here on YouTube, like you don't eat. It's not true.
If I could get plugged into a drip that gave me all the nutrients I need, he
would. Does he find it annoying?
100%.
Okay, he definitely is annoyed at the fact that you have to eat to live. He does not like this. He thinks I agree with you. In today's modern environment, why are we still eating? Like, why can't we just take something and get on?
That's what I'm talking about. We don't need to eat. All we need to do is get hooked up to the machines.
Yes, but then there are things that give you great pleasure, like ice cream. Like, no matter how much nutrition I get from taking a pill, like, it's not going to be that as great as having some ice cream.
Yeah.
And I throw fried chicken at you, Rekkr. Could you live without fried chicken?
Now that's just low. that's messed up, Claire. How could you use that against me?
Because Claire wins. Okay? Claire wins because you could not live without fried chicken. So like calm down and at least admit we got to eat to live.
Maybe fried chicken flavored drip. There we go. There we are. Win.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not going to be good enough. I know you. What is your favorite part about fried chicken? The crunch
The
in the
crunch.
smell of all the
Hmm.
spices. Get out of here. I know you're too good. You're not going to win this. You're not going to win. I know you're so- I throw you under that bus. And if you insist, I will drag you 5 miles if you insist.
Yeah.
This is totally off track. But thanks. I'm at least in a better mood. Because anyway, we're supposed to be talking about whether you should apply this law 100%. And I think we're both on the same page. And even most of the chat, I would say all of the chat, is that you cannot apply this particular law 100% of the time. It just will not
No.
work in today's environments.
And even besides that, burnout is a real thing.
Oh, yes.
And 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 I think one of the things that everyone needs to learn. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Is working out when burnout is setting in, because the hardest thing to do is being able to not only focus extensively on your goal, but also have enough foresight into knowing when you're pushing yourself beyond beyond a reasonable point where you will be more likely to put it down and be just as happy not to pick it back up for a few days, because you feel so burnt out over it. One of the hardest things I've noticed is doing something to a point where you feel where you get satisfaction out of it, but not, and stopping at that point, at the point where you're feeling the most satisfied from it, and not continuing to the point where it becomes more of a drain on you.
You know what? And I
Because
think it's a struggle for everyone, honestly.
it
Like
is,
knowing when that point is.
yeah, I do think, because like I noticed that if I for instance have gotten to the groove of something and I'm working on something and I'm really into it, if I stop at a point where I'm where I'm like either just just starting to feel a little bit ambivalent from the task that I'm doing, or just a little bit after that, I'm more happy to come back to it later than say if I get to a point where I'm starting to feel
Frustrated.
frustrated with it, and then putting it down, and then I'm already, since the last thought of the task that I was doing was frustration, the mind will actually go back to, do I really want that frustration again? No
Yeah,
one wants
like
that
the last thing
frustration
you
again.
remembered. Is that what I want to feel? Yeah, no. You're absolutely right.
Exactly.
That is the key to knowing when you're not being productive on the task and stepping away for a little bit. Like to do something else to refresh yourself so that you come back clear eyes, willing to do it, ready to tackle it. Because you're right. If you get to the point of frustration, you're going to hesitate to pick it back up again because you're going to be starting from that point of frustration. And,
Exactly.
it's all about tricking your mind, right? But it's really hard to pick up. Like you got to actually train yourself and pay attention to when that starts happening. You know, some people use timers, so they never get to have to make the decision. They just never get to that point. They
I
give
use timers
themselves
so
they
much.
they just give themselves 30 minutes, 45, 60 minutes to work on something. And if at the end of that 60 minutes it's not done or productive, they're gone. Like, no. And some of them even insist on taking a break and coming back and working on it again. It depends on your style and how you do it. I use if it's not within a certain period of time being productive, I put it away. I'll go back to it later.
Yeah,
Because you could
I've
spend
started.
days trying to do something that if you go back to it later takes only 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
and I've started doing that myself. I've noticed, like, I've had situations where it's taken me 2 hours to do 15 minutes worth of work,
hmm
and now I will literally put a timer on for say 2 hours, and if I haven't gotten and however much work I get done in that 2 hours is however much work I get done in that 2 hours, basically.
hmm And then here comes the other side of the story. Like, this law can make people that are dealing with modern day life feel very inadequate.
Oh, absolutely.
Because in today's reality, and I'm speaking like for the general, like, we're not talking about power hungry moguls here, okay? We're having a real discussion on real life right now,
Mm-hmm.
not the 50 cents of the world. I'm speaking to everybody else. Like, forget about the 50 cents of the world,
Yeah,
okay?
if you're wanting to be a 50 cent, or you're wanting to be someone who's like absolutely ruthlessly successful, follow the law to 100%. Just ignore everything else. Just follow the law to 100%, and that's it. If you want
Yeah,
to be someone who's just, getting on with life and doing life like life is,
yeah, but that's not
find
even my
balance.
point. That's not even my point. My point is that the majority of us don't even have the ability or in everyday life to be able to do it 50 cents worth.
Exactly.
It doesn't exist. They have a home life,
Exactly.
they have children, they have a job, or maybe two, a partner, or they're in university, or whatever. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they've got to support themselves. They got to keep a roof over their head and food on the table. They got to exist. Okay, and here in America, just existing is a time consuming job lately, like, just on
Oh, you
another
can say that
level.
again.
Okay, and keeping ourselves in balance. So my point is, the law itself on the surface of it could make us all feel inadequate when we look at that, because who has the time to focus on a goal? Okay, say you've got all this going on, but you want to be, oh, yeah, let me just pick something. Hmm. You're studying a regular degree at college because, like, say your real dream is to actually be a newscaster or a commentator on a broader scene. It's not just YouTube like a platform, but like really out there. So you're in school, you've got family life, you still have to go to holidays, you've got roommates in the house because you can't afford like rent on your own. So you've got all these relationships going on. You can't concentrate 100% on job interviews and practicing your skill with the microphone and doing news media reporting, because you still have homework to do in all of your subjects at university, and you really need to ace that to get a good resume to actually get this job you're focused on. So, like, you can't 100% everything you do be focused on that future job that you want, right? Like,
Mm.
everything is kind of working towards it, but you can't 100% focus everything you have on it, nor should you. You know, your
No.
university studies, although they should be targeted to your end goal, they need to be well balanced, because you have to, in today's job market, and this is just a fact, be able to do more than one thing.
Mm-hmm.
An expert can only be hired for a specific expert thing. And the more focused everything is, the more limited those jobs are. There's only so many of them.
Exactly.
Is it good to be known as the expert? Yes, it is. It's really hard to achieve, though. And you need to achieve something to be able to get higher up to be able to get the ultimate goal that you want. So, like, it's a fine balance being able to exist and keep climbing forward. And that's why I say, don't feel like you can't do it. Don't feel like it's unachievable, because here's the reality of it. As long as you're moving forward and towards it, you're doing better than 50% of the people out there.
Absolutely.
So feel good. As long as you are, when you have spare time, reading that journalistic magazine or taking an extra credit somewhere towards your goal, feel good about that. Don't spend your
Mm-hmm.
time feeling bad about what you're not doing. Feel good about the shit you are doing and keep focused on just moving forward, because that's the reality of the situation we're all dealing with regularly. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think people shouldn't be patting themselves on their back because they're not number one in their class. Like if you're in the top 25, hallelujah. You know, if you
Yep.
didn't fail, hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
Promote these things, like, and feel good about these things, and just the goal is keep moving forward. And if by chance you don't pass and you just have to take it again, well, congratulate yourself for picking yourself up and doing it and still moving forward, because even though you didn't pass that class, are you not still moving forward to your goal when you retake it and you try again?
Exactly.
So the focus should be moving forward, always trying to obtain, not so much putting everything in one basket, but the momentum in where your end goal is, and then just pulling all of the strings together. That everything that you're doing isn't hindering what you want to accomplish, but is actually supporting it in some way. Even the silly things, like the stuff that makes you happy. Would you agree
Yes.
that happy people achieve more?
Oh, absolutely.
If you have to choose between the person who looks happy and it doesn't look like it's going to be a crushing deal to them whether you say no, and the person who like looks very fidgety, anxious, and like this deal means everything to them, which one are you gravitating towards?
Probably the happy person.
That's human nature. We all do. And because we think they don't need it as much, they're not putting pressure on us. They're probably going to do a good job, but there's got to be something to them. It's like the focus on magic. Like we think they have the key to something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we always pick them. Even though we know that that person sweating bullets over there is going to try harder for us. You
Mm.
know, it's weird, isn't it? But that's human nature. That's
Exactly.
definitely human nature. Yep. Wait a second. I like these comments. Like, Couch, you're really making me think today. I like it. Makes me think of something I read in a book about the idea of total war. I'm paraphrasing, but the general idea is this: the idea of total war is a joke. It's not possible for every person at every moment to be working to win the war. People need rest, people need sustenance, people need to relieve themselves, and none of these things contribute to the war effort. They don't contribute to the war effort, but without it, there'd be no war effort, which
Hmm.
means, which to me means it's not a hindrance. It's actually support, allowing the comforts that you need to be the best you can be to contribute to war is actually support of and not a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Unders-
what, yeah, the mentality that goes with that, like what they said about that couch, is what contributes to people thinking that mental health is something we don't need to deal with or we shouldn't talk about in public.
mm.
And that bothers me, because like they think that contributing to good environments where people can grow healthily, in like having safe work environments and all is not necessary. To me, that just doesn't make any sense. All of this is support of the goal. you know you
Mm-hmm.
know Happy employees don't mean they're going to do anything. Disgruntled employees do more damage to your image. They may cost you less. You may have less overhead because you don't give a good break room, or you only give them a 15-minute lunch instead of 30, or whatever, or you don't allow them paid time off. It may help your bottom line, but these people are all disgruntled. These are the same people that are not correcting errors on emails that are going out, or pissing off your customers on a regular basis. They're not doing their best for you ever, ever.
Yep.
And I don't know why there can't be more of a balance. Yes, the bottom line is important, but environment to create that bottom line to be a healthy one so it can sustain and grow. I don't know. Am I just talking like a mom here or what? I don't know. I know
No.
people look at me like it's all peace, love, and joy. It's not. It just makes common sense to me, even in business. It just does.
Happy workers are always far more productive.
My point is that even if you have a high priority task, there's always other responsibilities. Exactly, Couch.
Mm-hmm.
And balance. Exactly. And you can't negate those small responsibilities. You got to keep them. You got to keep them around, right? And it's probably healthy to keep them around.
Yes. For
Hmm.
instance, um, I if we say we take something that we pay very little attention to, I would say we pay, let's say, what, 1% attention to breathing, right? But we tend to, but we do. Like, breathing is something
We
that
don't think about it,
we don't
right?
think about it. Yeah, it's something we spend 1% of our time maybe thinking about. And we tend to think about, like, getting jobs done far more. However, if you neglect that 1%, that little tiny 1% of breathing, it's it tends to lead to an inability to succeed in any of the other percentages of doing anything else, because
Life
yeah, it's not very conducive to living
to
if
living, right?
you stop the whole 1%
That's
breathing
so
thing.
valid. Like we don't even think about it, breathing, right? But it's the
Yeah.
key essential. That's the best support argument I've ever heard, actually.
See, I can make your I can make a good argument for
That
doing the
is
little
that's an
things.
excellent argument, dude. Like making sure the little things are good. Like that's a good
Yep.
one because like if you're not breathing, what else does
Mhm.
anything else matter? It doesn't.
Exactly.
It doesn't. That was very good. Very good.
Mhm.
Very good. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going to move the slide up. Okay. We're not going to read from the book today, people, because the examples in Green's book, and please feel free to read the chapter. The PDF is listed in our description. We're very open about it. And if you want to see what we would have focused on, you can go to the slides. But we chose not to read from the book because the examples are very outdated, very, very outdated. And they just don't seem to apply to the now of today's existence. And well, personally, myself, I felt like this conversation was too important on balance and focus. And yes, you do need to focus for your main goals and everything and keep things, try not to get distracted from them. But that doesn't mean cut everything off. It's a matter of picking and choosing, right, Rekkr? It's a matter of
Yes.
picking and choosing those distractions and not letting them take control of your life because make or have them hinder you in some way. It's a matter of making sure that they're supportive in some way and not a hindrance. It just doing that check like all the time. Hindrance or support. It's like that friend group that you have, right?
Yes.
And you have
Mhm.
all these different friends and they all apply something different to your life. You have different relationships with people. But isn't there always that one friend that brings you down and just distracts you from everything you want to accomplish and makes you feel like nothing's worth it?
Oh yeah.
And isn't that the one friend you should talk to a little bit less when you're trying to get something
Yes.
done? Yeah, you see
Mhm.
what I mean? Like it's just looking at things that way: hinder or support. You know, it,
Can I just point out, it took us nearly half the book to find a chapter that we pretty much not entirely disregarded, but um that took us away from the basis of the law.
yes, we are not dealing with it because here are the key bullets. I will go over those in fairness to Robert Greene when he
Mhm.
explains the law. Right? Would you like to read the bullets for me? Well, just to be fair to Robert Greene and what he intended to be out as Law 23.
Mhm. Okay. Key bullet points. Focus on one main powerful objective. Intensity beats doing everything. Concentration creates impact. This is very true.
Mm-hmm.
Find the richest opportunity, project, platform, patron, niche, and go deep, not wide. I'm not going to make a joke. I'm not going to make a joke. I'm not going to. Trimming
So,
side quests and distractions that drain energy away from your primary power play. Yeah, very good. Beware concentrating on one alley or system so much that if it fails, you fall with it. Yes. In modern life, think one flagship show, one core product, one key lane, rather than constant multitasking and brand scattering.
mhm. And let's be clear, this is in matter of choosing the goal,
Mm-hmm.
not your life. They're not talking about your life here. They're talking about choosing that goal. What is that goal that you want to concentrate on? And narrowing it down to one part of it, or the simple, like the main goal. You know, like
Yes.
when I said before about being the broadcaster, right? I didn't say a famous person, right? That would be too broad. That would be constant multitasking and brand scattering. That would be ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I concentrated on a single part of it, like the concentrating on news and media journalistically, right? So you got a straight path that you're going forth, instead of just saying like I want to be on television. That's too broad a goal. That's too big, you know,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like we do agree that there's value to this law in applying. Like if you don't apply yourself to what you want to accomplish, you're never going to get there. So the law 100% supports that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we agree on that. We just don't agree in cutting out the small things that actually support the goal, or actually not acknowledging that these other things support the goal.
It's recognizing what it's recognizing the difference between something that is supportive of the goal and something that is a distraction of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So like the easy one is obviously like eating and sleeping is supportive of the goal, where um yeah,
It's
I
still my,
know.
oh my god. Mom voice
as
works every time.
as 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 much of a distraction as they can be.
Mm-hmm.
Eating and sleeping is
Okay.
functionally supportive of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where, like, for instance, learning ballet is not going to teach you how to shoot a gun. For instance, if you're
Mm-hmm.
wanting to learn how to shoot a gun, spending 3 years learning ballet is not going to help you shoot a gun. It probably will in some random way, but not really.
Yes, I mean strength and flexibility.
Mm. But
Anyway,
yes, it's that's one of the hard things to do.
now that's not to say you can't have other hobbies at all. What they're saying is
No,
trim them to those that you actually need to keep your life balanced and actually give you great joy, or you have some benefit for, and get rid of the ones that are draining too much energy and leaving you feel like you don't have the time or the energy for your primary goal, for your main
exactly.
objectives. It doesn't mean don't have hobbies, don't go shopping, don't go out and have lunch with your friends, or go to the movie. It doesn't mean any of that. It means make sure that those aren't, you're not doing that so much that you have no time for your main goal. Like
Yeah.
it's about balance, and sometimes it's just having that balance is going to make it longer to get to your goal. But are you going to be happier and have a well balanced life when you get there? Is the other
Yes.
thing. It's all about choice, about what you want to give up and what you don't want to give up. Because let's be honest, those rags to riches stories, almost every single one of them gave up everything. Everything. No personal life, no
Or
family life, no job, nothing. They threw everything they had into it. And those are rare. The success of those people are rare. There's just as many that end up homeless,
there's
or
more.
unalived, or just miserable, or blaming themselves for taking the wrong path and taking it out on others for the rest of their lives. These are
I could
sad
almost
stories we hear
I
every
would
day. Yeah.
I would almost put money on the fact that for every one story of success you hear, there's probably about 50 or 60 stories that you don't hear of someone absolutely destroying their life
Hmm.
over trying to accomplish something.
Overly trying to accomplish, not accepting balance, not having a backup plan, not protecting themselves to where they can actually survive if it fails. I think that's the
Mm.
main thing. We're not talking about like not putting yourself 100% in it. We're saying like protect yourself 100% and your power by making sure you can survive it.
And knowing that 100% doesn't mean do it 100%. It means actually put a hundred. It doesn't mean
Commitment.
put 100% of every single thing you do into that one thing. It means put 100% of yourself into that one thing.
It means 100% conscious commitment to the goal,
Yes.
right?
So you might
It,
be, yeah. So
it
like,
means looking at it from the goal's perspective, almost everything,
yes,
right? Yeah.
yes, yeah. And once again, another very hard thing to do is to try and make sure that is to understand that 100% doesn't mean neglect everything else in the world and just do that. It means it's just a commitment thing. You're committing to uh, molding your life around achieving the goal, not 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 sacrificing your life to achieve the goal. There, that's better. Mold 100, putting 100% effort into something is molding yourself to achieve the goal, not sacrificing yourself to achieve the goal.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it, actually.
Both ways can succeed. One way is less detrimental to your health.
And also, what condition are you going to be in when you achieve it? Can you enjoy it? Is it worth it?
Exactly.
Exactly. It's all about balance. And I admit, like, it was hard to focus on this law because I immediately, after reading it, got sidetracked into the balance aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now that could be a personal thing with me because I am all about balance in justifying risk with the outcome either way. When I look at something I want to accomplish, I understand that you gotta be in it to win it. Is a saying that yes, it's absolutely true. You got to be invested in it. You gotta want it. You gotta apply yourself if you want to get it. Yeah, there are all those people. Just Rekkr is always saying to me there are people who just fall up all the time, and it's so frustrating. They don't do a damn thing. They just fall up.
Failing up. Failing
Failing all
up
the way up the ladder.
is
And it's true. We see these people all the time, but that's the exception to the rule. That's not everybody. It's definitely not us, right? It's not the average person. Um, but so you do have to apply yourself, but it's the consciousness that I'm trying to focus on. The consciousness to make the decisions that are good for you in the long run. Um, some people they're willing to risk everything to get something, and that's fine. They're willing to be all the way at the bottom again and start over. That's great, but they're consciously making that choice, and that's the difference. you know Too often I hear the stories of like people who gave it their all and they don't understand that it failed, and look where they are now, and now they're blaming everybody else, and it's really them they have to blame because you know you can't throw everything in there with 100% risk without a backup plan and then blame everything and everybody else when there's no backup plan and you ended up where you ended up. Like,
that's that's also another really good indicator of how you're focusing on things is who you blame when you fail. If you feel that more often than not you blame someone else for your failure, you're probably not putting the right effort into something.
this is true because are you not making the choice for all of the decisions and all of the
Mm-hmm.
progress towards everything? So how do you blame somebody else first? Like I,
Exactly.
I don't understand that means you're not 100% invested in your project. That's a good way to look at it, Rekkr. If you find yourself feeling like somebody else is at fault here, in like, well, number one, the book would tell you you're at fault no matter what. If you didn't see the other guy coming, if you
Well,
didn't make the plan,
it it
yeah,
it speaks to the fact that if you here's the thing. If you're in the position where you're actually even able to blame someone else for your failing, you failed to begin with. because it means that you did not have control over what was happening. You didn't have autonomy over your decisions. So if you're in that position where you can blame someone, then, and this was a goal that you had specifically, it means it really wasn't yours to begin with. You allowed yourself to be, and I'm talking about like ventures. I'm not talking about real life things, because that's a whole nother mess. But I'm talking like ventures of your own volition. If you're blaming someone else for not succeeding in your own venture, you didn't have control over that venture to begin with.
Yep.
It's
It's like, like Teresa is saying in the chat, it's about having clear balance, right? Having, a clear picture of the balance in your life. In Couch has a perfect example. Like, look at the one about New Year's resolutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come up with just one to do the best that he can. That way I can't fail because of anyone else but himself. In other words, instead of having all these different directions, one clear focus, right? Putting himself 100% behind it, and then it's all up to him. There's nothing else, on it. I agree with that. I agree with how you laid it out too. Like, I can't really think of even a better way. So it's not like we're totally against the law. We think the law, we know you need focus to actually accomplish anything, right? Yes. And we know without it, you're not going to get to the top of anything. You're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to apply yourself, and you have to do it consistently, and you have to keep being conscious of how you are or not doing it, and what actually hinders or supports your goal at any moment. I mean, I think that's the main takeaway. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I think that's what we just keep saying, like, round and round about, So I'm going to let you read my... This is right from the book. Robert Greene always gives us the image and the authority to try to sum up what he's trying to say in the chapter. Wait, I'm going to let you read them.
Okay, so the image is the arrow. You cannot hit two targets with one arrow. If your thoughts stray, you miss the enemy's heart. Mind and arrow must become one. Only with such concentration of mental and physical power can your arrow hit the target and pierce the heart.
This is true.
This is very true. And this is actually a very good example, because it's very much what needs to happen with archery. As someone who does archery, sometimes at a competitive level, the authority. Prize intensity more than extensity. Perfection resides in quality, not quantity. Extent alone never rises above mediocrity. And it is the misfortune of men with wide general interest that while they would like to have their finger in every pie, they have one in none. Intensity gives immense eminence and rise to the heroic in matters of sublime.
There we go. Basta Gracian again. You know what this made me think of?
What?
A perfect example of not sticking with the known great thing that for your goal, right? And letting other things influence it and kind of water it down too much. I'm going to say a bad word here. Are you ready? Forgive me, YouTube. I actually do know what I'm doing here, and sorry, not sorry. But let's talk about Oreos. Let's go there.
Oh no.
The perfect chocolate and cream sandwich, who had a corner of the market, but then, yes, they did dark Oreos and then they did lemon Oreos, and I can forgive them for that. But when they bowed to the thing of let's just go for the next great big thing over and over again. And now there are 170 different varieties of Oreos, and I would say that the majority of them are crap. What did that do to the brand? How did not focusing on what they do well and really well and sticking with it, how did that ruin what I would say Oreos is a bad name? Oreo, the word Oreo is actually banned in my Discord. That's how strongly I feel about this. I cannot stand what they did to a very good brand with this. Oh my God, is it pumpkin spice season? Let's make pumpkin spice. Let's make blueberry cream. Let's do this. Let's do that. How about, did you forget you were a goddamn cookie? And a really good cookie? And could you like stick with that? Like, what is all this? You can't pretend to be a candy cane. You can't pretend to be a chocolate pie. You're a freaking cookie.
Yep.
Okay, how about Coke? Coke is also an example of doing it right. Now, Coke did have a few failings of doing some flavors, okay? But as soon as the market said, yes, as soon as the market said, yo, Coke, what the heck are you doing? Like, we like Coke, they went back to it. But do they offer Diet Coke and Zero Coke because they know the market is supporting that, so they don't want to be out-branded by somebody else picking up those sales? But did they not keep the primary focus on Coca-Cola? Most of the ads that you see, what are they advertising? Not the new product, but the base product, Coca-Cola. The opposite of Oreo, who is only advertising the new junk that they are producing. And yes, I said junk because it's garbage. Sorry, not sorry. They are advertising. They're doing it the other way.
I actually know an even better brand, and I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna have to wash.
You
my
might as
mouth
well.
out
I've
later.
already ruined the stream with talking about the Oreos and having a fit and using my mom voice. I mean, at this point, you could even say the T word, and you can't get any worse.
Well, you know how much I have a love-hate relationship for this company, but I always have to say that they do it. They know how to focus their forces on one particular thing and do it so well.
You hate them because they're so easy to hate because they're so damn good at what they do. That's what it is.
No, I have reasons why to hate them that go beyond that.
Okay.
Apple.
Oh gosh,
Apple.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Talk about making sure nobody can compete with you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm all for it.
Apple just does it better than anyone else. They concentrated their forces on cornering the market in such a way that the genius of Apple is the fact that no one believes that what they're doing is a monopoly or monopolizing.
No,
because
they're centralized. Wait. They're the Rothschilds of tech.
To be fair, in the legal sense of the law, they're absolutely not monopolizing. But you can't tell me that the moment you own one Apple product, they haven't already just made you have to buy every other Apple product because...
Yes, they have. And I actually give them a lot of credit because they don't give in to the pressure. Absolutely. Even their own base says things like, let's just take the headphones, for example, like Bluetooth headphones, okay?
Absolutely.
Let's just take that for example. And here's everybody complaining. I want to be able to use my plug-in earphones from any other product. And Apple's like, no, we sell plugins if you want a plugin that works with our product and nothing else does. We have given you a solution, but we don't care that you want to use everybody else because we don't think they exist. We're the best. And this is, if you want it, it's here. And if you don't, go crying into the wind. Okay?
Yes. And
just that. Because remember, they took that plug away, right? Like first they made that plug only available to be used with the ones that come with their phone. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to get other ones to work, right? And it wouldn't guarantee it. They didn't want to hear if you had problems with it. They don't care.
And they've had numerous lawsuits when it comes to to people not being able to repair their own items, or doing really
True,
shady stuff where they've
true.
like
But
added
legally, they only have to
bloatware.
go so far. They only have to go so far, and that could be a whole nother stream. Because actually, if you're Apple, like let's look. I mean, you're looking at it as a consumer, and you want an open market. Okay, you want it to be open. Like the difference between Apple and Windows technology is open source, right? Apple refused to open source, and Windows went the way of open source. Correct?
Mostly open source. Yeah,
Okay, but is that not the key issue?
yeah, yeah.
Can you tell me
Rocket
can
Couch.
you tell me one law that said that Apple had to open source their product that they copyrighted that is unique from everything else? Is it not unique enough from Windows to be closed? Yes, it is. It's its own operating system. What law says I have to give it up freely to everybody else? Name
The
one law.
FBI.
No, the FBI doesn't say that. They otherwise it would have been done already. Steve
No,
Jobs did one
they
one
had no they had to force Apple to give them products that allows them to actually to access Apple
No,
phones.
they had to give them access to the Apple phones
Yeah.
under their terms with software they created, not something that the FBI would use on their own. That's where
No,
you're
that
misleading. Yeah.
no, that's what I mean. The FBI had to force Apple to make those things
But they
for them
didn't
to be able to
allow them,
use.
right, because the law says you have to be able to apply people, subpoena past records and this, that, and be able to
Yes.
read the records when they come in. But Apple
Mm-hmm.
was in charge of those readers and still is not giving out their code. Do you get my point? Not even to the FBI. They had to comply with the law, but the law could not force them to give out their open to make their source open. They can't. That belongs to them.
True.
They have tried to break it up, but when Steve Jobs said this is different enough to be copyrighted as a solo entity as to what it is, and I'm keeping it that way, smartest movie ever made. That's what I call putting 100% behind your product and what you believe in and not letting anybody else get a piece of it. Now, Steve Jobs as a person had a horrible life. Okay. He believed in dedicating everything and he had no social life whatsoever. He's well hated in the industry, privately, personally, and business wise. He's not an example of how to accomplish anything, but he is an example of how to protect your product and what you believe in. Because it's not breakable. There's no law that says if I create something, I have to give it to everyone. There's no law like that.
No, there isn't.
And you should be fighting for him to keep his sovereignty.
I'll
Because you
always
want
fight for the
yours.
consumer.
Don't you want yours? Okay. You write a song and I like it. And without you knowing, I take it and I put it anywhere, ruining the market for you because I'm a terrible singer. I'm horrible. I just ruined it. Okay. Do you not have the right to keep it to yourself and not let anybody else use it?
I do. It's
Right.
a little different though.
No, sovereignty. What you create is yours until you give it away. Is this correct?
Yes,
What you create is yours until you choose to give it away.
but you're selling it is a product though in this case, because once you sell it to someone, they should be able to do what they want with it.
They should, and you can, but they don't have to provide you with the means, do they? Are you
No.
free? Are you free to try to create something to go with Apple products that would enhance your life? Do they actually have to help you with that?
Yes.
It would make no, only because it makes it easier for you, but there's no law that says they have to help you with that.
Oh no, there's no law that says that they have to.
And the law says if they actually supply a product, that it has to do what they say it'll do. Does not every Apple product do that? And just because you want to use it in a different way, what law is there that says they have to accommodate your ass? There isn't one.
Yet.
You buy an Apple product knowing what it's going to do. You choose to use it in a different way or enhance it. Is that not on you? And why the hell should they fucking help you with it?
Because I believe in the right to repair.
Because, like, stomp your feet a little bit there, Rekkr, and say, because I want to be able to fix it myself and not pay for repair. Well, that's just fine. Nobody's stopping you from being able to attempt to repair it yourself. You're going to void your warranty.
They're trying to.
No, they're inhibiting you.
Oh,
what they're doing is not giving you the means to do it.
No, they are actually actively petitioning Congress and that to pass laws that does not allow people to even open their own products.
Well, what they already can void your warranty.
They in some countries, yes, they can. In other countries, no, they can't. But they are actively trying to make it a cross-the-board basically illegal to do so. I actually think in most places in America, you are allowed to open up. At this point in time, you are allowed to open up your
Can I ask you a question?
products. Sure.
You wrote a song, right? Let me just use an example.
Yes.
And I'm going to speak to you in languages of what you create so that you kind of understand where I'm coming from. And I'm speaking only in business language here, right? Mm-hmm. You wrote a song and you put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else out there have the right to change the words to that song and say it's still that song?
What wouldn't be that song?
No shit. So you open up an Apple product and you mess with it. Is it still an Apple product? And do they not have a right to protect their brand? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
once you interfere outside the guidelines of what Apple has approved, it is no longer. No. That's where you're wrong legally and morally and ethically, I might add, because you just want what you want. You're just going against the conglomerate because you can't repair your phone on your own and you have to spend money.
By law, it still is an Apple product. As long as you haven't physically modified the product to an extent that it is.
Okay, then why did you open it? What are you opening it for?
Either to repair it or
repair it from doing what? And why aren't you taking it to an approved Apple place to repair it?
Because you shouldn't have to. If you can repair it yourself, you should be able to repair it yourself. Absolutely.
Can 100%. You repair it yourself?
Absolutely.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no way you can open an Apple phone right now and repair it yourself.
Yeah, you can.
Well, then what are you arguing about?
Well, they're trying to stop it. They're trying to make it so you literally can't open an Apple product.
No, they're trying to stop it that once you do that they have to actually honor it as an Apple product for warranty and guideline. That's a different thing legally. And I'm with them on that. If you open it and you're in charge of the repair, you have altered their product. And you know what? I don't think they should be responsible for a guarantee on it after that. And I'm 100% their rights to sovereignty that this is their product. This is how they want it to work. And they don't want no amateur in there messing around with it and changing the value of what Apple stands for. Because that's what this argument is actually about. The value of what Apple means. And they have every right to protect that product in that sovereignty. And I'm sorry. On this, I do not agree. Once you go in there and you put your sticky little fingers in an Apple product, they should be able to say hands off. It's all yours now. You didn't want to spend the money for an You don't want to spend the money on an Apple technician to repair it. then that's just fine. Now you can repair it yourself and take responsibility for what happens afterwards, because we're hands off. We will not guarantee it as a fully functioning Apple product from this point forward.
And that's
I think
fine, but they have to be able to provide. They have to be able to provide the means of actually even of being able to safely and adequately repair a
I don't
product
think
like
they
that.
do, because they already did do that with their technicians and through their repair programs, their warranty programs, and through their turn it in and get a new one programs. They already provide that. You just want it cheaper and on your own terms. And there's no way that they are legally responsible to give that to you.
I would agree. I would be right there with you, but when they're charging $1,000 to fix something like a
Isn't
loose
it
wire,
isn't it still about the price and you just want it to be less? I don't care what it costs.
it's not
But you
just
just
about the
proved
price.
my argument that that's what the argument is.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's being able to repair it and
Is
having
there
it.
is there alternate ways to repair it besides you opening it up and doing it yourself?
Of course,
Is there a way for Apple to provide that repair so that you don't void your warranty and it's still considered a valuable warranted Apple product? Because the argument is about you want it both ways. You want to be able to do it yourself and have Apple back you up that it's still a verified Apple product. And Apple is saying, in simple terms, once you decide to do something on your own with it, you own it. It's not Apple's anymore. You're not assigning it to my label because Apple means something to me. And yeah, I don't know who you are, what you're doing, and I won't justify your work. I think they have every right to do that.
to an extent, yes.
He's dying on this hill, people. He's dying on this
I
hill.
will, because I strongly believe in the right to repair.
You
I
can
strongly
repair
believe.
it. I
No, you
strongly,
can't.
I strongly
They're
believe in
actively
product
trying.
sovereignty too. They no, they're not. All they're doing is voiding your warranty if you do it. They're not stopping you. They don't come and arrest you and take the phone away from you. Like they don't throw you in jail for cracking open the case. All they say is, fine, it's on you now. Apple will not warranty that repair or have anything to do with it. It's no longer an Apple product as far as we're concerned. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Why should they take responsibility for what you choose to do?
It would be fine if they actually, you know, still gave you the ability to repair it.
You have the ability to repair it. You just can't keep the warranty when you do. You're not
To an
even.
extent, yes.
No, that's the extent. That's the argument. That's the legal argument in the court. Like, that's the argument. And I'm sorry, there's no law that says they have to guarantee your work. Who the heck are you? You don't have an Apple certified thing. You haven't trained in Apple products. You don't even know the source code or how they work. Why should they guarantee what you do with it? Why?
Because you
That's
paid
a,
for it.
yes, you paid for it and it's doing what it said it would do. You knew exactly what you were paying for when you got it. You can't blame them because you overpaid for a product that you could have got something else that does the same thing. You're going to blame Apple now because you went for the shiny Apple instead of the other one? If and here's the other thing. Here's how it comes back to Law 23. Was it not your responsibility to think ahead about repairs and whether or not you'd be able to do that and what the long-term cost of having an Apple product would be before you grabbed it, that Apple, because it was shiny, new, and great technology?
And this is another reason why I'll never own an Apple.
So I say conscious decision here. You want to be able to repair your own phone. And if cost of repair and adding accessories and being able to change it for however you want is important to you, don't buy Apple because they are very clear about what you can and cannot do with an Apple product. Are they not?
To an extent, yes.
To an extent, where are they not clear about it? And you can't use I don't read the fine print in the warranty and in the repair stuff because it's all in there, by the way, because I have read it.
Where they overcharge for things.
So so now you're allowed to put value on what their repair work is worth?
No,
You're
it's
the
literally
judge
what
and
the
jury.
market price. It's literally what the price is.
Literally, there's no market
pr-
price because the only approved repair is through Apple. So there's no market for it.
Should you pay $1,000 for someone to reattach a wire that just clips in? Should they be able to charge you Should they be able to charge you $1,000?
If the price of those repairs is what's important to you, why the hell did you buy an Apple phone? Because all this is known ahead of time. You are now blaming Apple for a decision that you made that you didn't think through.
Sometimes it's not the decision of the person who's purchased it, because a lot of businesses actually use Apple, and
those businesses get those phones repaired for you or give you another one when they go bad. So what's the big problem here? Those businesses made the choice to stick with Apple under the guidelines of what the warranty is, and they're not trying to have the phones repaired illegally to void the warranty, because the warranty is important to them. So don't use the big business as an example, because I assure you they don't have a problem with it right now, or they wouldn't have chosen Apple.
Fair.
Okay? Because you want to really take this argument, at least take it down to what it is. It's about price and that you not wanting to pay it. And that's something you should have considered before you bought a goddamn Apple. And by the way, he doesn't own an Apple. He does not.
Thankfully.
I do own an Apple product. And ever since I bought my first Apple phone, I have never, ever ventured away from Apple.
Exactly. Because you can't.
No, because I can.
No,
I can. I can choose something else.
Yeah, but then how would you transfer all the information over to the other?
You can, because that's where you're wrong, because now it goes up into a cloud that is completely transferred.
Have they finally fixed that issue?
That was years ago, boo. If you're going to argue with me, at least be up on the times and the legality. You can.
I don't pay attention to Apple anymore.
Now, where the hell you got bringing this up to the bear? Dude. You get demerits. Chat, am I wrong? Demerits for Rekkr right there.
Fair.
Believe me, I can't believe we're arguing because you're cheap. It's not even an argument.
A cheap one here.
No.
Well, they're expensive.
No, they had the long-term plan. They put 100% behind one product, and they ain't letting anybody tarnish that apple. Nobody gets a bite of that apple. Nobody gets to tarnish that apple. Nobody gets to call that anything but a damn apple. And that is a brilliant business plan. Brilliant. Unbreakable, unshakable, and completely legal.
Fair.
And you know what? Price keeps going up, and people are still buying it. It's still almost number one. How do you argue that, Rek? How do you argue that?
Just because something's number one doesn't mean it's good.
When the price keeps going, oh, I see. It's not good now because you don't want to pay the price. That's your choice. Nobody can argue. How do you argue that Apple products aren't good? Seriously, you're really going to... that hill...
Like Mrs. C says, Apple does use Samsung parts.
You are underneath the hill now. Okay. Does that mean that most of the world is stupid? Because we're all still buying Apple. Apple's pretty damn good. The way Apple thinks in doing their apps and what it does actually is, when I first got my first Apple, you know why I stayed with it? It was one very simple thing. The way it grouped things together after I put two things together and found all the other things and grouped them because it liked the way I thought. It thought the way I thought. It thought the way I was going to use the phone. And I said, brilliant, and I stayed with it. It made my life easier.
Mm-hmm.
Your phone doesn't do that. You still got to go screen to screen to screen to screen to fucking find your apps.
It can.
Yeah, you manually have to put them all together.
No, there's things that can
And
do
when
that.
when you put them all together, does it automatically label it what it is?
Yep.
Okay, so then they stole Apple. They did like Apple. They did that after because
Probably.
they weren't doing it when I had mine. Okay, before I bought Apple, I did not have any Apple products before I bought my first Apple phone. And I had to be talked into it because I was clearly resisting, because I do not subscribe to the most expensive thing out there is the best thing out there. I never subscribe to that. I don't think that's true statement. And at the time, Apple was like the most expensive product. So I'm like, why would I want the most expensive? I actually want the best I can get for what I want to spend in quality. It doesn't have anything to do with the price, right? I'm not into labels. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about Jimmy Choo's shoes in designer bags or fancy coats. Like, I don't care. I want something that looks good, that fits good, and keeps me warm. You know, I don't care what the label says on it. So I wasn't interested in the fact that it was an Apple when I bought it. I was interested in what it did. And I'm not going to say there aren't frustrations about it, like when you have to use Apple products to go with Apple products. But I do understand that it's brilliant in keeping your focus on your main goal as a business is to keep your product to be the perfection of your product, not let other people alter it, not let other people change the value of it by misusing it in a different way or obstructing it. I mean, it's brilliant. And it's perfect law 23.
Fair.
Well, that certainly went into a totally different place than we thought. Let's wrap this up. Okay, let's see. The questions. Do you want to stay online to do some of these questions, or like? Oh
Sure.
my god! It was like we probably lost all of our audience by now. Uh, but anyway, you start.
Okay, the questions. In power games, do you think it's smarter to concentrate on one powerful ally slash Patreon or patron, or keep a wide network of okay relationships? Where is the line? Do you think social media culture, always doing everything everywhere, makes people weaker by default when it comes to power?
Absolutely. Oh, in number one, I think it's a balance. In I was thinking of the percentage. Where's the line? I'd say 70-30.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, like, pick your main product, like Coke. I would say use Coke as an example. Do they dally in other things? Yes, they do. But they cut the cord quick when it's not working out, and they always put the focus on the main product, original Coke, right? Like, would you agree?
Yes. Except for the time that they changed their recipe. But other than that, yes.
But they went back really quick. Did they learn? They learned quick that whoops, shouldn't have did that. Like,
Didn't
whoops,
they
no.
just change it back without even telling anyone? I swear they were like, oh no, we're just gonna have new Coke anyway.
No, new Coke is dead. Like, isn't it? Like, this isn't new Coke I'm
They
drinking.
did, yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. They either changed it somehow. They either like went back to the old recipe and then just silently changed it back to the new recipe, or did something. I
Oh
can't
my
remember.
god, you're really like, messing with my life here now. You realize this, right? Like,
What
this
you
whole
want me to
stream.
actually? You want me to ruin everyone's life right now? Here, let me ruin everyone's life right now. Coke doesn't actually have doesn't have cola beans in it. It's got no cola. It's actually not cola. It is not a cola drink. There is nothing cola in it.
Well, because it was actually based on coca to begin with.
Coca-Cola, yeah. But there's no cola beans or anything in it.
I know it's kind of weird. It is.
Yep.
But
So
I love my Coke.
I do too. I love Coke. I have 2 bottles of vanilla Coke in the fridge cooling
Yeah,
right now.
see, yeah, and I don't even go. I won't even go that far. Like, I only stick with original Coke.
I like vanilla Coke. I do like vanilla Coke. Vanilla Coke's good.
Hmm.
Original Coke is just as good.
And that kind of shows that how the 70-30 balance can work out. Like, because there is a big market for vanilla Coke, and it doesn't actually impede on the Coke as the main focus, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, but do you agree about the social media culture? Like that, like being able to be everywhere and everywhere once, like all of that in the freaking YouTube shorts. Like, no, this weakens power for sure. It's
Oh, absolutely.
it makes it too easy not to focus where you need to focus. It makes it too easy not to apply yourself in one direction.
Anything that can anything that can make you lose 3 hours of productive time is a net negative.
This is true.
Even if it is entertaining. If it makes you lose 3 hours of your time that you should be focusing on doing something productive and not like using it to unwind with, then yeah,
Hmm.
I would say it's a net negative.
Yeah. How do you know when you're concentrating too much on one thing? What are the signs? And how do you correct it?
Um, you smell terrible, you're hungry, and there are bills still in the mailbox.
I see. I'm going to have to put serious answers only after every question now.
It is a serious answer because you definitely know that you're doing something wrong if that's what's happened.
This is true. Yeah, I would say. I guess you're right. When you're the thing you should be focusing on is not you're not being productive anymore on it. It's not moving forward.
When it's becomes severely detrimental to your health, basically.
No, we're talking about the goal here, not your personal health and whether you stink or not. Like, yeah, yeah. Okay. How do you know you're multitasking too much or have too many projects at the same time? What shows you that you are out of focus on your goals?
There's
I,
no achievements made.
yeah, like it's not moving forward, right? You're still
Yep.
spinning around the same problem. You're not getting any answers. Yeah. 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 Is it harder for you to say yes to one path or to say no to all the distractions that come with it, and why?
Mm, I'd say it's harder to say yes. It depends because if you're someone who's real who is inclined to liking to do a lot of different things, then it is very hard to say yes to one path.
Yeah.
But if yeah,
Oh, it is like I like to be involved in multiple different things, but it is difficult to say no to all of it, and some of it can be very distracting. Um, let's look at some of the things. Lately, I've been watching a couple of YouTubers that are perfect examples of this. Like, there's a YouTube channel that I watched. He started by having fish tanks and collecting fish and doing fishing, and then he started rescuing animals, and he has all kinds of exotic pets, and he's like building his home in his backyard area is going to be like a place to like see all of this stuff, and I love that content. But then he started branching out into like a candy company and selling merchandise on his channel, in doing streams with other channels to try to promote them, and it became very distracting because everything became a commercial in between and everything became that. And I think that they spend too much time on those offshoots of their main goal. It became hard because, like, of course there's money in it. There's money in selling t-shirts and plushies and coffee cups if you have a YouTube channel, but the main money is from the views, right? And the main money is from the content. The reason we're there to give them the view is the content that they're giving. So when they start putting all that stuff in it to discourage us from washing, as I know about you guys, but I fast forward or I leave. You know, I'm getting frustrated with all these commercials in there selling their T-shirts and selling this and that, or talking about the candy, or bringing another streamer on and talking only about what they're doing. And I actually want to see the project that he's working on for his otter, or the bird that he brought in, or the new cage, or he's building an aviary. I want to see that. That's why I'm there, right? So by not saying no to those other distractions, he's hurting the main goal. Do you see? Like, for me anyway, the way I look at it. Because if I'm the main goal watching your video, it's annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Did I not explain it well enough? Maybe it's not a good example. I don't know.
No, it's a perfect example.
Yeah. And yet it's hard to say no to that, because does it not all make money for his channel so that he can build his aviary and promote his and build his channel larger and have more content? Like, so it's a catch-22. Like, you've got to find a fine balance for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the next one is, when does concentrating your forces become obsession, tunnel vision, or neglecting your health and relationships? Where would you draw the line?
You go first.
Probably when you miss doctor's appointments. I guess.
Or any kind of appointment, or you forget about stuff, that other things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
So where do you draw the line?
I haven't figured that one out myself, I guess.
Actually, I think you have.
Have I?
Yeah. May I expand?
Yes.
Could you not concentrate all your forces as long as you build a backup plan on how to keep yourself on track with all the other little things? Like maybe a tickler system, a calendar, reminders, you know, alarms that go off on your phone, having a good reminder system for doctor's appointments, making it a good habit to check in with certain people or certain things on your calendar on a regular basis, forcing yourself to walk away for a minute, have a backup plan of just a schedule or a routine, a habit. Doesn't that help you from becoming too obsessive?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay. I know that helps me. It's too easy to lose.
Me too, yeah.
It's too easy for me to lose myself in a book. You know, I could read a book in a couple of hours. Like, I could disappear and could have read a whole book and come back later and say, oh, I just read a book. And you'd be like, no, you didn't. Like, you've only been gone 3 hours. So I'm like, yeah, I read the whole book. You want to know? Like, because I lose myself in that book. You know, I'm just dedicated to just reading that book constantly. But if I've got dinner on the stove, that's a pretty bad thing. So I tell you what, I'm putting an alarm on if I put dinner on the stove before I pick up that book. You know, because I know myself. Okay. It's a matter of knowing yourself and knowing your habits and creating habits that actually support you instead of hinder you.
Good point, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's possible. Because we want to be able to concentrate on what we're doing. The only way to get 100% is to give 100%. So, like, you want the best quality, you got to be in it. You got to be able to focus, you know? So You've got to find a way to not let that focus get out of control too. Here's the big one. I'm answering. I'm gonna read it, so you have to answer it first. If someone chooses to concentrate only on money and power,
ignoring everything else. Do you see that as discipline or as a character flaw?
I think it's both and neither.
Why is it both?
Because it takes great discipline to be able to focus all of your entire being into one thing. But it's also a significant character flaw because it leads to unhealthy relationships with not just people around you, but your own self.
Mm-hmm. And why neither? That's the neither part, what you just said? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Me, I think it's both also in a way. I think it's a matter of balance. I think it's I think it is a character flaw if it's just about money and power. Okay, here it's like I see it as great discipline because it is necessary to get there. Okay, as long as you're consciously doing it, you've made the choice to do it. I see it as a character flaw if you get there and then you're whining about it because you got nothing else in your life but money and power.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think you made the conscious choice and you got nobody to blame but yourself. You know what I mean? So, like you, I think it's both. I think it takes great discipline and you do need to get disciplined, but it's a conscious choice. So I'm all for it that it's great discipline and everything. If you've made the conscious choice that that's what you want and you're willing to sacrifice whatever to get there, then fine. I'm not going to blame 50 Cent for what he did. It's a great achievement as long as he's fully conscious of all of the repercussions for how he did it in all of the things that come with it. He's got all the money and power right now. He also has the horrible reputation and no real social life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And everybody wants something from him and he can trust no one. But he made that decision consciously. And he's not whining about it. So it's not a character flaw. He has every right to make that decision for himself as long as he owns it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not whining about his position in life right now. So it's for me, even how 50 did it, which was brutal and backstabbing and nasty and dog eat dog and not something I personally would do, but I can't say it's a character flaw.
Nope. I guess the only way you could call it a character flaw is if he regretted doing it.
Yeah, if he's up there whining about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you're like, well, you should have thought about that. Like that's what I mean about balance and conscious decision. I think that's the application that needs to be added to this law. The reversal, if you don't apply yourself, you're going to fail. If you over apply yourself, you're going to fail in some way anyway. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of that, right?
Basically, decide how. Be the person who decides how you fail.
Mm-hmm.
In the same respect, be the person who decides how you succeed.
Right. That would do it. On that,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're on last words. We are so over. I can't believe how I thought this was going to be so short, and I can't believe how long it actually went because we really did get off track, but still on track in some way. I think most of the conversation was relevant to the law.
Apart from our spiel with Apple, but you know.
No, that was totally on the law. Do you guys agree with me? That was a perfect example of the law. What are you talking about? You know, just because you lost, just because you ended up under that hill, doesn't mean it wasn't a perfect example.
It's nice and warm under this hill. Thank you very much.
Hey, at least you stick with your convictions. I'll give you that. But,
Exactly.
Yeah. But this was interesting. Will we be back next week?
What will we be doing next week? We will be doing... I have to scroll because we didn't read any of it. Rule 24. Play the perfect courtier.
Oh, oh, now we're getting into royal courts and everything and pleasing everyone.
Hmm.
Okay, this should be interesting. Well, I hope you all will come back next week to join us.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think that's it for tonight. What do you think?
Yes.
All right, we'll see everybody next week, same
I
time.
do have some last words, though.
Oh, please. I forgot to ask you about last words. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Make sure you have landing gear before you fly.
Did you just. Okay. You know, actually, that's good advice. That's very good advice. All right, everybody. See you next week.
See ya.